We've got some more special guests to bring to the stage. And like we did with some hints earlier, there's a hint by how many chairs are on the stage. But let's start by introducing our Veterinarian Advisory Council. And we're going to bring each one on stage one at a time. Let's start with this one. She is a veterinarian at Laguna Hills Animal Hospital in Laguna Hills, California. She presently can be seen in thousands of veterinary offices coast to coast on the educational DVD series Pet Care TV. She provides answers to internet-using pet owners on WebMD, and she has been the host and creator of the podcast The Pet Doctor for the past 8 years. She was chair of the American Veterinary Medical Association's Council on Communications, and she's currently a member of the AVMA's Political Action Committee Board. Please help me welcome Dr. Bernadine Cruz. Music. We gotta play that tonight at the party. Bernadine, I like it. All right. And next, he owns 11 veterinary hospitals in the Chicago and Columbus area. He's the founder of Help Save Pets, an animal shelter that saved more than 15,000 homeless pets. He also is a member of the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association Public Education Committee and a certified veterinarian journalist. In his free time, he's a motorcyclist, guitarist, marathon runner, triathlete, and advanced open water diver. And here is the most exciting part. He adopted a Chihuahua mix that has been wonderful company and has eaten poultry food her entire life. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Tony Kramer. More. She is the founder and CEO of Lap of Love Veterinarian Hospice, a service that is honored to have visited the homes of 100,000 families. She has a nationwide network of over 100 passionate doctors. She and Lap of Love have been featured on numerous local, national, and professional media outlets, including ABC, Fox 13, Associated Press, The New York Times, Washington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine, The Huffington Post, and many more. And she was named 2016 Pet Industry Woman of the Year. Please welcome Dr. Danny McVenny. She is the small animal internal medicine specialist for the Phoenix Laboratory in Mukilteo, I think I said that right, Washington. Yeah, there we go. She helps veterinarians in the Pacific Northwest with the interpretation of blood work, diagnostic testing, and the treatment of disease in small animals. She hosted the talk radio program Ask the Vet in the Seattle market for 10 years and has served as a veterinarian resource for print, radio, and television. She is the delegate from Washington to the AVMA House of Delegates, which is kind of like the Congress for the veterinary profession. And she was named the Washington State Veterinarian of the Year in 2015. Please help me welcome Dr. Sandy Willis. All right, there's one more chair, and it needs to be filled. So, she is the conductor of the orchestra when it comes to product development and developing and launching products for Patri. She has over 25 years of experience developing a wide range of pet products. She represents the voice of the pets in the home office for Patri every single day. Last month, she was recognized as one of the top women in the pet industry by Women in the Pet Industry Network. And please help me welcome to the stage, Ms. Brooke Sloat. Now, before I turn it over to Brooke and the veterinarians, which I'm really excited to hear, I wanted to give you a little bit of background and context. I mentioned that Brooke is the conductor of the orchestra, and I want to just give you a little glimmer into the number of resources and relationships that goes into developing a product. And Brooke truly is, it's like a conductor of the orchestra. We certainly rely on veterinarians, these veterinarians, many other veterinarians who we have relationships with for different products depending on the ideas and the expertise needed. There's formulators that get involved. There's PhDs in nutrition and animal science who contribute and help. There are experts in lab and testing and experts who know palatability and tasting and testing for that. There are contract manufacturers, there are ingredient suppliers, so there are a whole host of people who come together to help us anytime we develop any product. And it's all orchestrated by Brooke here right on the stage. And I will say we always, anytime that we launch a nutrition product, it always has been developed in connection with one or more vets. Sometimes these vets, sometimes other vets. What we do with the advisory council, which are these 4 veterinarians, and you can also see their bios on our website, is I'm going to just share just a quick, because I want to give them the time, but I want you to understand how amazing, not just from their bios, but how amazing what they're doing in their daily lives really is, and how they've been so wonderful and generous to take all of their knowledge and relationships and help fuel the vision that Patri has, and they have a shared vision to help us be successful, and they've really done that in amazing ways. So let me just give, these are just a few examples. I wish I had time to go in even more detail. But let me start with Dr. Bernadine. Dr. Bernadine has, she is excellent with the press and the media. I mean, all 4 of them truly are. They've all had respective areas to contribute that way. But just recently we had an opportunity to do a radio interview, and they wanted a veterinarian's perspective, and we contacted Dr. Bernadine, and she very quickly rose to the occasion, gave a beautiful interview, and she's done that multiple times in podcasts and so forth, things like that. Dr. Tony, he, as I mentioned, has 11 veterinarian hospitals in the Chicago and Columbus area. Well, he's been wonderful to allow us to help get our message out. We've put flyers and information in exam rooms, in all the exam rooms. We've been able to come talk to his staff of veterinarians and other office staff. They've allowed us to put displays from time to time in the lobby. We've shared through Facebook and other messages to all of his audience, the thousands and thousands of people that he contacts through his client base. So wonderful at giving access. And in addition, with the charity I mentioned, Help Save Pets, they also feed the Patri food and recommend it when people leave to get their pet and adopt pets. So just a wonderful contribution there. And then Dr. Sandy, as I mentioned, she is an internist, and she really focuses a lot of her career on disease. And of course, we don't have food and prescriptions and things for diseases, but what she's very passionate, because she's seen so much in disease, that to help, and she knows that there are things that can be done on the front end to help pets either not get the kind of health issues that she ends up treating often. And so one of the things that she has done in the last little bit for us is she's a wonderful writer, and so she's written on obesity, pet obesity, and helped us be able to publish some information to help people to understand the consequences and impact of pet obesity that later leads to disease states. So that's been fabulous. And then Dr. Danny, she is, and all of them are excellent speakers. Dr. Danny is on the speaker circuit all the time. She is in the vet schools speaking to vet students. And if you can imagine, one of the things that it's very difficult for us as pawTree to do is to get out to all the veterinarians and help educate them on the amazing nutrition we have at pawTree. Well, Dr. Danny, every season, every year, she goes out and speaks to over half of the vet schools, and every time she speaks to a vet school, she has a slide, she talks about pawTree, and she shares our... So those are just a glimpse into some of the ways that we try to share relationships and tap into their expertise and their knowledge, but also their relationships and their influence in the industry to help us have a stronger message, and so that when you're out talking to people, maybe it's not the first time that they've heard of it. Maybe they have heard of it from one of our amazing veterinarians or somebody who they know. So with that, let's give a big round of applause to Brooke and the veterinarians.
Let's start by saying we are honored to have all of you here, and everybody's going to have some time to get with you later today or during the day. So we're going to take this time to talk about some issues that are in the industry today and answer some top of mind questions about our products. Okay, so without further ado, so that we have enough time, we're going to just start with our questions. So to begin with, I want to start with an issue that has just come up, and it's with regard to the FDA. They made the news lately. About 2 weeks ago, the FDA issued a report regarding findings about grain-free dog foods that contain peas, lentils, other legumes, seeds, and potatoes as main ingredients, which are mostly found in grain-free dog food. So that's why they're talking about grain-free dog foods. They're investigating a potential association of grain-free dog foods containing these ingredients and instances of DCM. DCM stands for dilated cardiomyopathy. You might also hear about something about golden retriever issues, etc. It's all the same thing. So I'd like to just bring this up right now because we've started to get questions because people have seen this FDA report. So we'd like to tell you and explain what that's all about and what you should or should not be worried about with regard to pawTree. Okay, so I'm going to ask Bernadine to go ahead and address this one. What is DCM, and why has the FDA issued this report to alert consumers at this time?
Well, number one, as Brooke was saying, dilated cardiomyopathy is a heart muscle disease. So the heart is a pump. It's a biological pump. They don't know exactly what causes it. There's a lot of different suppositions as to what causes it. Taurine, which is an amino acid, seems to be associated with this. So what happens is that the heart muscle becomes thinner. When it becomes thinner, it can't pump as well. When it can't pump as well, you're not getting oxygen to the body. And you can also have congestion of that blood into the heart muscle itself, into the heart chambers. So if you're not having the oxygen go around, if you've ever gone to Denver and you're up that high, you might feel a little bit weak. Well, the pet can show weakness. It might seem lethargic, it might not have a great appetite. If you have congestion of the blood, the congestion of the blood can cause ascites, fluid buildup, usually in the chest cavity, so you can have coughing. One of the other signs that you may see is just sudden death. Where did this one come from? So of course that's always very shocking. Oh my goodness, what happened? Did it just happen? This is an insidious disease. It takes a while for it to show itself, but you know your pets, they just keep putting on a good front. Why? Because mom's going, dad's going someplace. They don't show their signs of illness often enough. Right now, the FDA has brought this to everyone's attention. Why? Because they've seen a cluster. Usually this is disease of large breed dogs. So you're going to have Rottweilers, you're going to have Great Danes, you're going to have Boxers, and sometimes even American Cocker Spaniels. Those are the typicals. And then as Brooke was saying, yes, now they're seeing it in Golden Retrievers. Oh my goodness, you know, it must be something with the food. What they're needing to do is bring it to your attention, because we need to have citizen scientists such as yourself making sure, what are we seeing? Right now, this is still in the very early stages. But what they're seeing so far in this little cluster is trying to figure out what are they eating, who's the genetics, somebody associated with, you know, who's mom, who's dad. And what they're seeing, a commonality, is a grain-free diet. Well, grain-free has only been out since the early 2000s. So there are some dogs that, yes, have been on their entire lives. Is it associated with grain-free? They don't know. It may be genetics, there may be underlying reasons. Maybe for some of them, it's an inexpensive food that doesn't have this amino acid taurine in it. But if we're not aware of it, we can't bring it to someone's attention. If I'm a veterinarian and you bring in your Golden Retriever and I say, oh my goodness, how unusual. Your dog has a condition we normally don't see in Golden Retrievers. How sad, your dog dies. But if I'm not aware and I can't bring it to somebody's attention, maybe I can't help another dog. So you need to let pawTree know if you're ever seeing anything. But the main thing to do is make sure your pet owners are aware, yes, there's a problem. No, it's not associated with pawTree. But if there's a question, bring it to their veterinarian's attention. Ask. You're here to educate.
Perfect, thank you. Now, thank you. So the one thing that you guys need to know is they are concerned about the deficiency, taurine deficiency. And so what you need to understand is when pawTree formulas were originally formulated, we added taurine, if you see on the bag, added taurine for heart and eye health, okay? We already are at the levels that the FDA is recommending anybody to be at now. So the FDA is thinking, you know, they're basically saying you must be at this level to be safe, to make sure that the pet has enough taurine. So we already have been at those levels, but we actually recently added more, just for the safety of our pets, just to make sure. This is not the first time you're going to hear about this issue, because basically the FDA is looking for, as Bernadine said, is looking for more cases. They're trying to figure something out, so that's why they made it public without a lot of information. And it's kind of scary what they just recently released if you don't understand what you're reading. But please, I just want you to know that we have such good connections between our veterinary community, our suppliers, our formulators. We have so many experts in the industry that are keeping on top of this for us and with us and keeping us informed. We know about it, and we will do everything possible to keep our pets healthy and do everything the FDA tells us to do. But this is going to be happening for a while. This is just the beginning because as they learn more, they're going to document and tell us more.
I'd like to pop in one thing also,
Yes.
Brooke, is that taurine is not an essential amino acid for dogs, something that you have to add to their diet. It is for cats. So here's pawTree, they're going above and beyond. They don't have to put the taurine in it, but they're doing it because they're such a conscientious company. They want to make sure that those pets are healthy. So if your pet owners are going, oh, but a little bit is good, I'm going to add more, it can be toxic. So right now, pawTree is meeting all the needs that are necessary.
And that's, you know, another thing, again, just to add on to this, because this is such a current issue, but I mean, if you look at all the claims on our bags, you know, we add glucosamine, we add so many different things to the food. Very few companies add all the things that we do. We are not allowing or making pet parents choose what's more important. Is it heart health? Is it joint health? It's all important, and we add it all. Okay, that's what differentiates us from everybody else. Okay, so let's move on to some product topics that are top of mind for everybody, and we'll talk about GastroPro Plus. And I'm going to see maybe Tony, you could do this one, please. When using our GastroPro Plus, is it better to get the whole dose at one time, or is it better to split it between 2 meals?
Okay, well, the short answer there is split it. We want to see this enzyme on every bit of food that they eat. So if they eat twice a day, split it up. I'm glad I got this question because this is like one of my favorite supplements that Audrey makes. And I hope it will be one of yours favorites to recommend. Anytime you can be somebody that fixes a problem that messes with the human-animal bond, you have a chance to be a hero. And for example, when you're cuddled up with your dog on the couch, watching a movie, and he has a gas explosion. You know, Max, get out of here, oh my God, what are you doing? Get away from us, you know. Poor Max, he just has a biological function going on, and he's got kicked out of the path, right? You don't understand that. So, we want to not have that happen to poor Max. And the other thing, too, when we talk about digestive problems, people will allow their dogs to cough for months before they go to the vet. They'll itch for months. But when a dog has diarrhea on your carpet, you need to be at the vet yesterday, right? That's a big deal for a pet parent. And so if we can solve those problems up front with a supplement like this, then you get a chance to be a hero.
So while we're on the roll here, Tony, this question has come up. Is it true that when GastroPro Plus is given with food, that it aids in digestion, but when given without food, the focus is more on boosting the immune system?
Well, again, I'd say it's best to give it with food. We want those enzymes to be active on the food right when they eat it. So when it's given with food, it will do a better job of digesting that food and breaking down the carbohydrates and whatnot. But what you say, if both are true, if it's given when there's not food there, then the effects will be anti-inflammatory from your probiotics and your herbs, and that will help loosen the load on the immune system as well.
Perfect. And one last thing people ask a lot, is there a best way to supplement with our GastroPro Plus?
Well, these come in capsules, and so basically we recommend that you open that capsule up and sprinkle that food, that supplement on the food, so that, again, all the food is in contact with those enzymes to help you do a better job. One nice thing about that, too, that we found is that when they take it and they have that enzyme in their mouth out of the capsule and not swallowing the whole capsule and having it open up inside the body, it's actually doing some breaking down of carbohydrates and sugars in their mouth, which will actually help have them have better teeth, less dental disease, and an overall healthier mouth.
Excellent, thank you. And should someone use it all the time or just when they see an issue with diarrhea?
Certainly if you have diarrhea, that's going to be obvious. It'll be a helpful situation. But then again, if we just go back to Max, this is a problem we don't want to have happen anytime. And if we can reduce the amount of gas a pet has, it's always a good thing.
All right, thank you. Okay. Let's talk about food allergies and food intolerances. This question comes up a lot. People don't understand the difference between. A lot of people think their pets are always allergic to something. So, Sandy, I'm going to point this in your direction. How common are food allergies, and what's the significance of feeding a grain-free food? Let's go ahead and start with what's the difference between an allergy and an intolerance.
Hi guys. Do you guys have people when they're talking about their pet food say their pet's allergic to something in the food? Isn't that really, really common?
Chicken, right?
Right? Chicken, all kinds. Yeah, and these are all food intolerances, but there's differences between a true food allergy and an intolerance. So they're all adverse food reactions, There's true allergies and there's intolerances, which are much more common. We all eat food, so sometimes things don't agree with us, but it's not typically a true food allergy. And a food allergy tends to be a protein source. It can be chicken, it can be fish, beef, it can be corn and soy, but it's hypersensitivity. It's a true allergic reaction to a food complement that the animal's been exposed to before. Usually ingested, but could be in the skin, it's been sensitized and now it's reacting a second time. It's really uncommon as opposed to an intolerance, which it's just kind of more a physiologic response to something that they're just don't tolerate that food item or that combination, but it's different than an allergy. And there are blood tests to look for allergies, but really to decide if an animal's allergic to a food item, you need to do a food trial, which gets complicated. That's where the veterinarians come in, and specialists, sometimes dermatologists, but to actually put them on an elimination diet, take out an ingredient one at a time, then put it back in. But what you guys are seeing probably, and we all are with our pets, is more food intolerances. Just some different diets they don't do as well on. And again, it may be protein sources, it could be carbohydrates, could be additives, flavorings, and those kind of things. So the pet just doesn't do as well. And the true allergies, we can see dermatologic signs. So even ear infections, it's really funky that you would get an otitis and consider a food allergy. But scratchy, itchy, they start excoriating their skin with their nails, they'll get a secondary bacterial infection. We can see that with true food allergy, as well as, Dr. Tony pointed out very well, we covered gas extensively, but GI disease with a true food allergy, diarrhea, vomiting, sometimes weight loss, not feeling well, and flatulence. The intolerance that you guys are seeing more often, usually mostly GI in order. They just don't feel very well, they may have more gas, there's a lot of bacterial overgrowth and the population being screwed up. There's some really nice bacteria in the gut that we're trying to supplement with that GastroPro Plus to really supplement and nurse that bacteria. So when people comment on that the pet has a true food allergy and diet may not be appropriate for them, it's really worth trying a pod tree diet, and that GastroPro Plus could really help. And you guys have seen the difference, haven't you, in a lot of these pets? Really do really well. Because we want to start out simple before we go to complex. And then if it's simple doesn't work, we may need to go further.
And that's excellent, Sandy. And a lot of times it's also fillers, right? Like you were mentioning, but like soy and corn and some of the fillers that might be in products that are causing some of these issues. But a lot of times everybody says, my pet's allergic to chicken. And when it comes to like a puppy, when you're putting a puppy on something, the pet has to be, generally speaking, has to be exposed to it before they will get an allergy to it. So if someone comes in and they say, I have a puppy a couple months old, generally speaking, it's not an allergy. So just to know the difference between the two, and someone is really, they're still having a reaction, but it's not a true allergy. That's why you've heard me say in the trainings, it's few and far between that have true food allergies. It's more intolerances. Okay? Okay, Danny, you've been quiet.
I haven't. Very unusual.
So let's talk about one of our favorite products, our Wild Alaskan Salmon Oil. We all love that, right? Okay, so Danny, why are omega fatty acids important for our pets, and what should you expect to see to know that our salmon oil is working?
And I'm so happy that I got this question also for me.
Because your skin coat is so nice.
Well, so speaking of which, I have a hairless rat terrier. So she has no hair, obviously. So when I started giving her this supplement, I mean, she's always had good skin, but then her skin, you can just see the vessels getting healthy, and you can see how healthy her pink skin is. It's fantastic. And if there's one supplement that we'll actually recommend for older, aging hospice patients, because by this point, a lot of times supplements, we're a little bit beyond that for our hospice patients. But if there's one that we see a lot of improvement in, it is omega supplements, like Patry's food additive, and it's fantastic. And even when I was looking into this years ago, and I'll never forget being in veterinary school and listening to my little gastro professor. He was a tiny little man, talked about omegas. I'll never forget that day. I don't know why. But he talked about the importance of the ratio between omega-3s and omega-6. And even when I was researching Patry's product, I'm absolutely amazed at the quality. So they actually extract the omegas from the salmon within hours of that wild-caught salmon being caught. And that's much different, than farm-raised salmon. I mean, if you think about a salmon that has been out in the wild, swimming, doing the natural things, versus one that's in a tiny little confined feeding operation, it's very, very different. So that the quality of the product, even the product's coming from a bottle with a pump, so that the oxygen isn't oxygenating this product, but degrading the value and the quality of it. So I'm really proud to recommend this product, and it's the only one that I do recommend, and even the supplements that I take personally, because we're all biological organisms, and this is one of the supplements that I do take. Thank you.
Yeah. But you don't take our wild lessons.
I could.
You could.
But I don't. But although I could, and I have tasted it before. I wanted to make sure I wanted it. I'm like that. Thank you. I'm that pet, that dog mom. You know, I want to know what my dog is eating. So it is the one supplement that I take regularly for myself and that I give my dogs as well.
That is awesome. Thank you. So another thing, I always use the wrong word for this, but basically we always see the skin and coat health. That's a thing that you're going to notice first and foremost, right? You know, the pet owner, and it's usually within a very short period of time from when they start using ours because it takes effect so quickly. But it also has to, you know, it almost like lubricates. I mean, it helps all the organs. It helps everything from the inside out. This is such an amazing product. And it helps with skin allergies. It helps with so many different things. It's our first line of defense when someone says, I have an itchy dog.
And it's not just your, but it's not even the skin and the hair, but also the GI and also the musculoskeletal system.
Yes.
Which is actually the reason why we recommend it to our hospice patients as well, because it just helps with the mobility. It's almost hard to explain to people, but they don't see it immediately like you do with some drugs, you know, real drugs. But it's the week later, 2 weeks later, it's like, wow, he's getting up, he's moving around. They're just a little bit more engaged.
Yes.
It was fantastic, fantastic.
And they love it, so yeah, exactly. Thank you. Okay, so next, I think we would talk about the one thing, don't you think? Some pop herrings? Some pop herrings. And Bernadine, you just love pop herring. I mean, I think you all love them, but Bernadine, absolutely. So let's talk about pop herrings. Our focus this year has been on pop herring superfood seasoning. Why is this such an important product for pets?
Well, what I love about paw pairings is that you can give it to dogs, you can give it to cats. And in my practice, yes, I run into those animals that are super picky. I'll run into those pets that have come in with a heartbreak of vomiting, diarrhea, after surgery, just not doing well, on prescription diets, all these various things. But you've heard me say it before, it's a matter of diet, genetics, and luck that is going to let that pet thrive and not just survive. Well, we can't do anything about the genetics. We can't do anything about the luck. But you can really do so much about the diet. So here you have a product that is going to be giving them the micronutrients, that has all the antioxidants. Like the salmon oil, the antioxidant is so important for internal health, is what you're seeing on the outside also. That is really necessary to do. And I love the fact that now you have the Italian and the Asian and that you have the Mexican, because I think we're all Jewish mothers. Eat. You know, it makes us feel good when our pets are eating, right? It's like, yes, it ate food, oh, it makes your heart feel so good. But too many of my clients are coming in and having the problem of overnutrition. And that overnutrition ends up with that fat pet or the pet that has diarrhea because they're constantly changing something. It got tired of its food. Now you put the paw pairings on and all of you can be gourmands because like the turducken, a little of this, a little of that. You know, I want to put this on my food because then I won't get bored with what I eat and put it on my salads. So you really have a great introduction also for those people that say, I don't know about pottery, this is kind of different. You know, my pet's doing okay. But when you have something like the paw pairings, you can say, all right, your dog is on or your cat is on a prescription diet. It really doesn't like it. But you know it has kidney disease, renal disease, and it needs this. My vet told me it needs this. If it doesn't like it, it doesn't want to eat it. So now you put this paw pairing that's not going to add to the overnutrition or the undernutrition because it's not eating. Now it's exciting to eat. It's like, oh, I can do this. And you can keep changing it without adding the calories, without adding the sodium in it. All those things that it is okay. So now you have the introduction. Try this. See how it works. Many times in the practice, I send them home with my clients. The pets just aren't eating, and they love it. Because it's like, yes. When it's eating again, you know it's on its way to health.
Thanks, Drew. that you were saying to them was specifically was, when you need to send a pet home after surgery, what you want to, I don't want to give this away. Do you want to talk about, what you had said? Basically, when a pet needs to go home, they have to eat, right, before they go home. A lot of times pets don't want to eat after surgery, correct?
Your own pet, they want to be home with you in a strange environment, strange smells. Cats, they're just freaked. They just want to have nothing to do with this food. But yes, you want them to eat. You know that if they're eating, all right, you're stable enough to go home. So I carry it in my pocket at the office, my little paw pairings, like sprinkle here, sprinkle there. It's like, oh, this one's been boarding for a couple of days and hasn't eaten. It's like, so we sprinkle it on. It's like, we're set.
Awesome. I honestly cannot wait for you guys. Well, I can wait for you guys to go home because when we go home, then we have to go home. But I can't wait for you guys to try the new paw pairings with your pets. They are going to love them. Okay, so let's move on. Tony, you're an athlete. Let's talk about joint support plus. Is a joint supplement really necessary for my pet? Isn't this just for big dogs and older dogs?
Okay, well, yes, it's necessary. Probably the biggest reason why it's necessary is because joint problems are so common. My area of special interest is orthopedic surgery. That's what I love doing. And with the hospitals that we have, I'm running around from hospital to hospital dealing with orthopedic and joint problems. And they come from so many different ways, places and whatnot. Dogs get injured, rupture their ACL. They may have hereditary or genetic problems like hip dysplasia or smaller dogs having luxating patellas. Even infectious diseases like Lyme disease can play havoc with the joints in pets. And then something that with all pets will deal with, if they are lucky enough to live a long, happy life in their old age, they're going to deal with some degenerative joint issues and arthritis. So it's something that can affect all pets. One of the statistics I saw is that if you take a population of pets, in dogs, 1 out of every 5 has some type of joint problem that they're dealing with now. And something that I was even more surprised about is that 1/3 of all cats that reach 6 years of age have joint problems. It's something that you wouldn't think is the case, but we attribute that to the fact that most cats are supposed to be about 8 or 9 pounds, and many of them are 15 or 16 pounds. And so that extra weight is going to have extra wear and tear on their joints. And so there's a lot of pets out there that need this. The way I explain it to people, and I'm going to recommend it to, is it's just like oil in the car. The fluid in your joints is slippery, protective fluid that is going to protect the mechanical parts in that joint. And if you have a car that you don't change the oil in, or you let the oil run really, really low, those parts are going to wear out faster, and that car is not going to last as long. And it's the same thing. If we don't do something for our pets' joints that keep that joint fluid healthy, replenish it, and keep that joint nice and slippery, that joint is going to wear out faster, and then the downside is that pet's not going to last as long. So yes, it's very important.
Right, once that fluid's gone, it's gone, right? So you have to preserve it as much as you can. Yeah, so it's not an old dog thing, it's not a big dog thing, it's an any dog thing. If that dog walks, we all take our dogs on walks, if that dog is walking, jumping, etc., and our cat, they need this thing to protect that joint fluid, or it's going to be pretty hefty bills, doctor bills, right?
Yeah, orthopedic bills are some of the biggest bills that we have.
Don't I know it? All right, so Tony, just to follow up on this, how is our joint support supplement different? Because there are so many on the market. And how does someone know, well, I use a joint support now, why would I need to use Pawtrees?
Again, another way I explain this to people is that Pawtree supplements, kind of like a 1-2 punch. You have the first punch is our supplements, the chondroitin sulfate, the glucosamine, the HA, the MSM, the green lip mussels. And I know they're only in there because Pawtree has to have something green in everything, right? But they do a good job. And all those are coming at helping the joint in different ways. And then the second punch is the herbal side of this that's going to be kind of the natural, the holistic pain relief for that pet. And I've never seen any other joint supplement, even ones that people take, that come that multifaceted. So I think that's how it's different.
Okay, these are great questions. We're going to run out of time, but I want to get one more product question, and we will definitely do more things with these guys, I promise. But let's just get one more in, and let's talk about dental sticks. So Sandy, do I really need to brush my dog's teeth, and how do our dental sticks work?
Well, we brush our teeth twice a day, and that's really hard to do in our pets. And dental disease has gotten so much attention in veterinary medicine. There's so much we're doing in dentistry. Dental x-rays are huge because a lot of it is what you can't see. It's below the gum line. And it's really hard to brush our animals' teeth, but you can think of if you don't clean off the debris in there, and there's a biofilm. You guys, if you don't brush your teeth after, you guys can feel that in your mouth. It's yucky. There's a film there that coats the teeth, and it creates the plaque and then the mineralized plaque, the tartar, that builds up that your dental hygienist is always telling you about. And the biofilm is saliva, it's food particles, it's bacteria there, and it's really important to get that off. So you need to do that mechanically. You don't do it really with food or even with your tongue. So when we brush our teeth, we do it with the dental sticks. Part of it's mechanical. But there's also, I think it's some sea algae in there. What's really unique about pawTree is the sourcing of ingredients that Roger mentioned, but the unique ingredients they put in there that really differentiate from similar products. So that helps to break down the biofilm, and there's a lot of talk about biofilm in veterinary medicine, but the other part of that is there's some experiment, and there's also what the other ingredient to make the dog's breath, and these are just for dogs, fresher. So there's a couple of parsley, that's right, to make the dog's breath fresher. And this is really important to give these treats after the meal. It's kind of like we brush our teeth after a meal. So it stays in the mouth over the night and does all that magical work of coating the teeth. Like they describe kind of like an Oreo. So all that sea kelp and all that stuff for the biofilms, like the inside of the Oreo that you eat after you open the Oreo up. So you don't have to open the tree up. The dog will get it all, but it's really a unique product.
Thank you so much. And it's true. So remember, chomp, chomp, chomp. That's all you need to do is just chew on it a little bit, get it all over their teeth after their final meal of the day before they go to bed. It works overnight. Fewer dentals. Healthier dogs. Okay. So, and remember, it is just for dogs, not for cats. Okay? All right, last question. I want each of you, but we need to move quickly. But this is so important to us because we want to know, how does pawTree's vision to create a world filled with unconditional love where pets and their people thrive, how does that fit with your personal vision and mission? And why don't we just let's start with Bernadine?
Make it short and sweet, that's going to be difficult. You may have heard of a initiative called the One World Initiative. One World, One Health, One Medicine. And I see myself being involved with it, but I also see all of you. Because every time you touch a pet owner, you're impacting in their lives. So you're impacting that pet by making sure that it has that optimal health possible. You're working from the inside out. You're also really affecting that human-animal bond. We want to have our pets with us as long as possible, as good a quality of life as possible. You're also affecting the human-human bond. Your relationship with that pet owner. Your relationship with that pet owner now is their relationship with pawTree. So it really turns into this win-win-win situation for everyone. One of the things that we were talking about earlier is that we've had a lot of pet food recalls. There's never been one for pawTree. And I think you approach people by saying, I stopped recommending different procedures, products, etc. at my hospital, but I tell them what they need. So I educate them and I tell them what they need. Not what I recommend, that's soft. But you go out there and you tell people what they need to know. You educate them, you make sure that their pet thrives, not just survives.
Excellent, thank you.
And I think what I'd say I look at my vision, and my vision started out to be successful at something I love that did something good for others. And I work a lot. My job, my career is my passion, and it doesn't feel like a job. The heartwarming feeling I get when I take care of a pet and a family is something I'll never get when I'm doing a hobby or playing golf, especially not playing golf. And so, how does that align with Pawtree? I think it comes from the mission that Roger and his team have put in place, coupled with a really high-quality product that you can be very proud to recommend. And that has set the stage for you guys to be successful at something you love that does something really good for others. And I think if you make that your passion, you will contribute to a world of unconditional love where pets and people are better off because of what you do.
Thank you.
We've listened this morning in the back there to all the talks that you've seen, and Roger and his team coming out here, and you guys that meet us in the hallway. You're so passion-driven, you're so mission-driven, and just love, you guys mentioned a lot this morning, but it really exudes through everything that you do. I work at the AVMA, and we're looking at food safety issues, milk, we're looking at anthrax in animals, we're looking at global animal health, and then I come home to my 3 cats that I have a bond with. And yes, one of them has lymphoma, my Oriental long-hair has cancer, and the food is so much a part of that, even though, because I can't touch her. She runs from me all the time, but I can feed her. And people want to do as much as they can for their pets. They love their pets. And feeding them is kind of a reward situation. It's led to obesity, but you folks with Pawtree, making it specific, healthy on the inside and out, recommending products whose sourcing of ingredients is spot on, whose formulations are spot on, very unique, standing behind the quality, allows people to feel good, have a little fun with like the paw parents, to support the bond through feeding their pets and then seeing how good they look. And I don't know how we would do it without the animals in our lives, and it is all about love.
It is.
Yeah, I started Lab of Love Veterinary Hospice 3 months out of school, and I really did not know what it was going to turn into. But now, we have a team of amazing people, over 100 doctors that see lots of families every day. But we start every single one of our executive meetings by reading our mission. And our mission at Lab of Love is to make the end-of-life experience for pets and the people that love them as personal and peaceful as possible. And to me, Pawtree just embodies that, right? They make the experience that pets have with their people personal by putting the names of all the dogs on the dog food. I mean, and of course, peaceful, or for Pawtree, it would be exciting, and it would be lively, and engaging your pet constantly with paw parents and all the other amazing products that we have. On June 12th, so just a few weeks ago, my little rat terrier, my hairless little crazy rat terrier, died. And she died in the same ER that I worked at when I started Lab of Love. And she died without me. I'm going to get through this out front. But I
had a Kleenex up here.
I know, sorry. I wish that I would have had her on Pawtree her entire life. She's been on it for a little over a year. But I think that I might have gotten a couple more years. She was 13. She got me through vet school. She got me through my children being born. And I should have had a couple more years with her. So my wish for all of you and for all the people that you work with is that you get as much time as possible with as much bonding as possible. And that is literally what Pawtree's here for, and that's what I'm here for, and all of us are here for as well.
Thank you. Long time. I can't thank you guys enough. These guys are rock stars. Let's hear it for our